Okay, so we are live again. Actually, I am live again. Uh, it is 4:38 in the morning, Saturday morning, 11/11/2023, and I'm going to try to go over some more of the Maura Murray case that happened up here in New Hampshire a few years ago. And this is my disclaimer here. I'm going to try to go over the timeline again and come up with some more info. So let me play my intro, and I'll be back shortly. I think is a good possibility. I'll be right back. Okay, so let's go over a brief intro to the case for those who are not familiar with it. Uh, I think this is the fourth live on this case because it's just one of those, probably one of the most widely covered cases before. I mean, this is probably the very first widely covered social media case. So let's share the screen here. So if you want to watch the episodes I did before this, they're probably down in YouTube somewhere on my channel here. So let's just read some of this stuff here briefly. Maura Murray, born May 4th, 1982, is an American woman who disappeared on the evening of February 9th, 2004, after a car crash on Route 12 near Woodsville, New Hampshire, a village in the town of Haverhill, New Hampshire. So it's basically a little village in the town of Haverhill. Her whereabouts remain unknown. She was 21. She was a 21-year-old nursing student completing her junior year at the University of Massachusetts in Amherst at the time of her disappearance. So I'll pull up a map. I probably should put some music on, but give me a second here while I get my bearings here. Okay, so I'm going to get out of this screen here and go to a map. Here, and I'll throw some music on here, which will probably come in really crappy. Because I don't think I have the greatest service tonight, but let's try it anyways. Nope. There you go. All right. Sets the mood. Okay, so here we are. This is University of Massachusetts Amherst. Here they have a couple locations in Massachusetts. Let me just plug this in here. So what I kind of want to point out is I've been questioning the direction here. But it is a little quicker to go up 91 here and then across into, because she was supposedly headed towards Bartlett, New Hampshire, which is kind of in the middle right of the state here in New Hampshire. I'll break that up in a minute here. But she could have also gone this way here, which is basically down the pike here, and then up 93. But that is actually a little bit further as far as timing than going 91, which is bizarre. And it's even more bizarre to go this way. So, but she could have gone this way up 93 and then over to Bartlett. But anyways, this is where she drew. I mean, she's from Hanson, Massachusetts, which is over here. But she was going to school here, so she left here, and this is where her car crashed, is up here in Woodville, New Hampshire. So I'll leave that map up because we're going to be going back to it. Because I do want to go over the timeline again. So let's do a little bit more reading here. So this is all about her early life. Maura Murray was born May 4th, 1982 in Hanson, Massachusetts, the fourth child of Fred and Laurie Murray. She has an older brother, Fred, two older sisters, Kathleen and Julie. Julie seems to be the spokeswoman, and a younger half-brother, Kurt. So I think Kathleen passed away, I'm not sure. Maura was raised in an Irish Catholic household, so very religious. When she was 6, her parents divorced, after which Maura lived primarily with her mother. So she lived with her mother pretty much. Murray graduated from Whitman-Hanson Regional High School, where she was a star athlete on the school's track team. She was accepted into the United States Military Academy at West Point, New York, where she studied chemical engineering for 3 semesters. After her freshman year, she transferred to the University of Massachusetts Amherst to study nursing. So she's studying to be a nurse. So she had high hopes. She's very smart. Prior to the disappearance, so this is when we get into all the crap here. In 2003 November, 3 months before her disappearance, Murray admitted to using a stolen credit card to order food from several restaurants, including one in Hadley, Massachusetts. And the only reason why they bring in this shit up is because, I don't know, the charge was continued in December and to be dismissed after 3 months of good behavior. I mean, it is kind of important to some people, it's not to me. On the evening of February 5th, 2004, while she was on duty at her campus security job, Murray spoke on the phone with her older sister, Kathleen. They discussed Kathleen's relationship problems with her fiance, and around 10:30 p.m., while still on her shift, Maura reportedly broke down in tears. When her supervisor arrived at her desk, Maura was just completely zoned out, no reaction at all, and was unresponsive. So she escorted her back to her dorm room at around 1:20. When asked what was wrong, Maura said 2 words, "My sister." So I'm not going to go over this stuff here. On Saturday, February 7th, Murray's father, Fred, arrived in Amherst. He told investigators he and Murray went car shopping that afternoon and later went to dinner with a friend of his daughter. Murray dropped her father off at a motel room and, borrowing his Toyota Corolla, returned to campus to attend a dorm party. She arrived at 10:30 p.m. At 2:30 a.m. on Sunday, February 8th, she left the party, and at 3 a.m. en route to her father's motel, she struck a guardrail on Route 9 in Hadley, Massachusetts. And I have that. What was the address that I had there? I forget now. Okay, got it. I guess I can find it at some point, but anyways, it'll be on the video. Okay, so let's get back to this here. So, causing nearly $10,000 worth of damage to her father's car. The responding officer wrote an accident report. Oh, I know how to get there. Okay. Okay. So this is the. Let me get out of here. I can go back to that. I got way too many windows open here. So this is a copy of the accident report from the Hadley Police Department. Patrol officer here. Motor vehicle accident investigated. North Maple Street and North Hadley Road. Hadley. So it goes on to say your vehicle entered a 2004 gray Toyota Corolla, so that's right. UMass PD states accident area of Mass Ave, where it is TS off to Hadley. So here's the police report at intersection North Maple Street, North Hadley Road, so I can find that now. Oops. And North Hadley Road. Right. Okay, so I got it right here. Whoops, I don't want to go that far. I'm not really good at this at all. Sorry. So let's get out of here and for a second, and I want to show you where this happened. So this is North Hadley Road here, and she was driving this way here. And this is a T intersection here. And this is North Maple Street here. And she basically drove right into this guardrail here. There was a snowbank here too, so she might have slid, I don't know, but she hit this guardrail pretty good. Lucky she didn't get T-boned here. So this is the guardrail that she hit, and there was a snowbank here. All right, so let's go back to so the question I have is, I don't know if she was seen after the accident or not, by a doctor. So this is the accident report here again. Vehicle 1, occupant 0, just her, Massachusetts. The license plate, of course, has been scratched out here. That's definitely Maura Murray. This was the accident before the accident in New Hampshire, obviously. And it was registered to this guy here, Frederick Murray, so that was his car. And this is the damage area here. So she basically hit square into the front of the car. It was towed. No citations issued. Now this was a local police officer here, a Hadley officer here, I think, that stopped. So here's the This is the road we were just on, so she's traveling here, and she kind of goes this way, and it's basically in the middle of that guardrail and snowbank here. So here's the crash narrative. Vehicle 1 was traveling westbound on North Hadley Road near the intersection of North Maple Street. Due to operator inattention, she went through the T intersection and struck the snowbank and guardrail at opposite side of T intersection. So she was on the opposite side of this intersection here. College State Motors towed the vehicle and gave the operator a ride to the Quality Inn motel. So they gave her a ride to the motel, so obviously she didn't go get checked. Anytime there's an accident like that here, I worry about, whiplash and stuff like that. So you never know. Now, I don't know if she was drinking. Obviously she was. She left the party. It was a party, and it was a dorm party. But there's no documentation of a field sobriety test being conducted. So whether he just let it go, I don't think you can do that these days, or even those days. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she wasn't. So clearly here it says there's no documentation of a field sobriety test. So she didn't even go to get checked. Some people don't. Some people don't go get checked. So Maura was driven to her father's motel and stayed at his room in the rest of the morning. And at 4:49 a.m., there was a cell phone call placed to her boyfriend from Fred's phone. So she called her boyfriend. The participants and content of the phone call are unknown. I read all of this the last time. Okay, so let's go here. Where was I right here? So this is kind of a map. At Hadley's over here, Amherst they're pretty close. Where they grew up is way over here in Hanson. So here in a footnote is, we don't know why Maura left school. Clearly it was her intention to leave school. Clearly she hadn't a destination in mind when she came up north. This is from the New Hampshire State Police. So this is him talking. So this is Lieutenant John Scarinza. Clearly she hadn't a destination in mind when she came up north. What clearly did not make sense was that she didn't confide in anything. She didn't tell anybody that we know of that why she was coming up here. After midnight on Monday, February 9th, Maura used a personal computer to search MapQuest for directions to the Berkshires and Burlington, Vermont, which I think are kind of irrelevant. I don't know, but they might not be. The first reported contact Maura had with anyone on February 9th was at 1 o'clock, so she emailed her boyfriend. She was clearly distraught, though. She was clearly in a mind of her own here. She also made a phone call inquiring about renting a condominium at the same Bartlett, New Hampshire Condo Association, which her family had vacationed in the past. Telephone records indicate that that call lasted 3 minutes. So she called this place here in Bartlett, New Hampshire. The owner did not rent the condo to Murray, and I found that out yesterday. So the owner, they didn't have anything. But they didn't ask her. I don't think they asked her till later on. It wasn't right away. Murray called a fellow nursing student for reasons unknown. So if we go back to this map here, I'm going to put in just for no, I don't want to. So this is what I came up with. So if she was heading up, I'm going to just get out of here for a second. If she's heading up to Bartlett, New Hampshire, that changes everything now here because, this is a long ass freaking drive. This is a good almost 4 hours, no matter which way you go. So she's coming from, I hate this freaking thing. She's coming from Amherst here. She's driving all the way up 91, way past Hanover, up 91, getting off at this exit here, which I got to go up there again and see what this exit sign says up in here. And then she takes, I think this is 112 here. Then all the way over, so she's got to cross over 93 here to get to Bartlett. And it seems like she was kind of heading that way because, if she was going east, which everybody thinks she was kind of heading in this general area. But there's a lot, this is ski country up in here, so there's a lot of shit up there. She could have been going anywhere in here. But, there's another route here you can take. So this is 3 hours and 28 minutes. This way, 93 is actually longer, but it's less miles. Because this is mostly back roads here. There's another way you can go, which is basically this way here, then up 93. But I think this is actually going the pike here is actually further. So that makes sense why she went up 91. Most people from Massachusetts that live over here on the western side, if they're going to New Hampshire, will go up 91 here. Because I had questioned this, why she would have gone this way here as opposed to 93. Because I do know 93, there's a toll here. And they would have had an image of her probably, even back then, they probably would have had cameras here in the toll booth. Both here and in Hooksett, Concord. All right, so that's the map. Here's Woodsville here. Oh, there's a Dunkin' Donuts up there. Why? I just dropped myself off in the woods here. I'm terrible at this. Hold on a second. Let's see here. Okay. Okay, so this is the road here. Here's the barn. So she's traveling east. And I've gone over this before. So here's the ribbon here. So this is where the accident was. So she's coming around here, coming around this corner here. And like I said, you got to remember, this is not like this snow here in February. So the date of this was February 9th. So picture this all white here. These shoulders of the road here are not there. Probably there's snow here. So she drives around here and it's completely dark up in here. There's no light whatsoever, unless you have street lights, and I don't really see a lot of them. New Hampshire is notorious for no lights whatsoever. So she comes around the corner here, and there's the tree. So she's not in the corner. You know what I mean? She's out of the corner. Right, so here's the S here. So she's, away from the corner. Now, a lot of times what happens up in here, sometimes you have animals that get out and start running across the road. She might have been trying to avoid something here and maybe got into the ditch here and poof, right there. But anyways, so this is the accident scene. So let's read a little bit more while I keep this up here. Okay, so I'm going to read this here. In her car, Maura packed clothing, toiletries, college textbooks, and birth control pills. When her room was searched later, campus police discovered most of her belongings packed in boxes and the art removed from the wall. So she was planning to leave there. That's for sure. Because if this is true, if her belongings were packed in boxes and the art was removed from the walls, she was planning on maybe going somewhere and having this stuff moved up to her. It's not clear whether Murray packed them that day, but police at the time said she had packed them between Sunday night and Monday morning. So the day before. So on top of the boxes was a printed email to Murray's boyfriend indicating trouble in their relationship. So she was out of there. If this is true, she was leaving that area. At least for a little while. But, again, if she's packing up her stuff and taking the art down the wall, it's a pretty good suggestion that she's at least thinking about not being there anymore. At 3:30, she drove off campus in her black 1996 Saturn sedan. So that's what it looks like, just black. Classes at the university had been canceled that day due to the snowstorm. So there was a snowstorm. At 3:40 p.m., Murray withdrew. So I don't want to get into too much of this. So Murray left Amherst between 4 and 5 p.m., presumably via Interstate 91. So this is presumably. We don't know for sure whether she went Interstate 91 or not. So to date, there's no indication she had informed anyone of her destination or any evidence that she had chosen one. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to watch. Hold on a second. Okay, so I want to watch this one here. Set the music off here. All right, so we're going to. Where was I? Right here. So this is from Maura Murray's official site here, but this is coming from Fox 25, and this was done. This was done 7 years ago, I think. 10 years later. So 2004, 2014. Yeah, maybe. This was done probably 13 years ago? I'll have to do the math. All right, so let's just listen.
The Maura Murray case continues to fascinate people all around the country. How could this young, pretty nursing student simply and completely disappear? Now, on the internet, you'll find plenty of rumors and theories, but you won't find Maura. And that's why, with this story, we start with Maura Murray 10 years later.
I'll tell you about Maura, it's where do you start?
Fred Murray last talked to his daughter, Maura, almost exactly 10 years ago.
But I was just happy with the type of kid. She was a good kid. She is a good kid. Never mind this was. She is a good kid.
Maura Murray disappeared somewhere along Route 112 in Haverhill, New Hampshire, a town that borders Vermont on one side and sits at the foot of the White Mountains on the other. On February 9th, 2004, at about 7:30 in the evening, Maura crashed her car into a snowbank, encountered a local school bus driver, and then disappeared, all before police arrived. The Maura Murray case is one of New Hampshire's most baffling unsolved cases. But for Fred Murray, this is only about one thing: his missing daughter.
What do you think happened to Maura?
I
Yeah,
think
almost 10 years ago.
Somebody grabbed her. Maybe somebody hearing it in a scanner or something like that. I think it's a Monday night. It isn't. There's nothing really going on. It's not a tourist type of deal. I think a local dirtbag grabbed her. And I know she would have called me that Monday night if she were able. But
About 7:30 at night, Maura is traveling eastbound on 112. Her vehicle comes through here, and she loses.
So this is where we are. This is the road that we were just on. She has to come all the way down here. So there's a bunch of traveling. My question is here in this general area, or even off the highway, if there are any payphones in this that were in this area, because I know if this happened in 2024, I know there were payphones where I lived that still worked in 2004. So I'm just wondering if there were any payphones in this general area here that she could have used, because they're saying there's very little cell phone service in here, and I know that's probably a fact. So, but if there's a payphone somewhere, or maybe even use the phone of somebody that lived around here.
Loses control right in here and spins around, and she's facing now in the opposite direction.
Private investigator Tom Shamshak is one of a number of PIs and police who have searched for Maura Murray over the last 10 years. He has walked through the New Hampshire woods and talked to witnesses and studied police reports New Hampshire has made public. Shamshak is concerned for Maura Murray's fate.
I think Maura was taken from the scene, and then something happened.
But where is Maura Murray right now? At the scene of the crash, there are precious few clues. There are witnesses who saw her, including a school bus driver.
So this is the bus driver. This is the person that first encountered her. Right here. He's no longer with us, this guy here, I don't think.
Who lived nearby. He saw Maura and offered help, but did not stay with her.
He stopped, opened the door, had conversation with her, asked her if she needed assistance. Maura.
So he's saying, this guy here is saying he stopped, opened the door to talk to her. So she was in the car.
Opened the door, had conversation with her, asked her if she needed assistance. Maura replied that she had already called 911, but that isn't the case. She didn't make a call.
There is the scent.
Why did he open her door?
Assistance. Maura replied that she had already called 911, but that isn't the case. She didn't make a call. He stopped, opened the door, had conversation with her, asked her if she
That's really weird.
needed assistance. Maura replied that she had already called 911, but that isn't the case. She didn't make a call.
There is the scent a dog picked up 39 hours after the disappearance on Route 112.
The dog tracked from the scene of the accident up 600 feet and stopped. The dog lost the scent.
So this is the
So 600 feet. So here's the accident scene here. So 600 feet this way here. So I did some math. And you can probably in 10 minutes, let's see here, what did I do? What's about a half a mile. So how fast can a person walk in 10 minutes is about 1/2 a mile, or 0.80 kilometers. So that's 10 minutes. So you can walk that fast in 10 minutes. So a half a mile. That's a lot.
last sign of Maura Murray, 600 feet away from where the car was.
In the middle of the road.
In the middle of the road, and that's 39 hours later. What does that tell you, Tom, that the scent, the trail ends?
So let's go back to the map Um, I can find it. Okay, I got it. All right, so let's go back. Sorry, I have to do this to people again. So let's go back here. And turn around. So this here, these roads up in New Hampshire, or in any wooded route like this, there's very little shoulder here on these roads here, and when you have snowbanks and ice flow out into the road, you basically don't have that much room here, especially around a corner. We don't have a lot of space. What I'm saying. So if you're going to walk, you know, you're going to want, there's not going to be a walking path here. You're basically going to be in the middle of the road. You're not going to walk. There's no sidewalk here. So, if you get out of your car and you've broken down and you got to walk, you have to literally almost walk in the middle of the road here, or in the middle of one of the lanes. So here's the ribbon. So that's there. So they went up this road here with the dog. So about 600 feet is probably right around here. And there's a little business here. And I don't know what this place was back in. This was done here in 2019. This shot here. So I don't know what this place was back in 2004. But all I was trying to figure out is, I wonder if there was a payphone here. Payphones did exist. So maybe she went here and she saw a payphone. One thing about payphones is you can always call collect. So she might have tried to call, if there was a payphone here, she might have tried to call somebody. And I went over this before. When it's February, it's cold, especially at night. If there's a breeze or if there's a wind. So the first thing you do is you try to figure out how to get out of the cold, because the cold. She's a pretty smart girl, so person. I don't want to say girl. I don't know why I said that. But you want to try to get as warm as you can as fast as you can, because you know that the weather may be a problem, especially if you've been drinking.
From Maura Murray right there.
Well, it could mean that she either.
So this is what we just traveled up in here. So here's the ribbon right here. So she's almost right at this place here. So if the dog sensed her right about to this point, I don't know if the dog would have been able to go through the snow here if there was snow. But again, if there was snow here, there would have been tracks.
Got into a vehicle, or she continued walking, and the dog just wasn't able to detect anything any further.
The place where the dog lost the scent is across the street from the home of Butch Atwood, the school bus driver's home.
Which is right here.
And Shamchak says that school bus driver, now dead.
Okay, so I can get rid of that. Not this place. I have to go up. I have to get up there.
Did
So there's
something
a
odd that
sign.
night.
There's a sign right there. Yeah, this might be the place right here. Yeah, that's the sign. And that's the telephone pole behind it. So I'm so bad at this. There's the sign. There's a telephone pole behind it. Right? This might have been taken down here. That's just strange. That's very strange.
The bus driver has brief conversation with Maura, is satisfied that she's okay, and he drives down about 800 feet to his driveway, backs his bus in, and then sits in the bus for about 15 to 20 minutes doing paperwork. He is seen by another neighbor who noted that Atwood was in the bus working.
The bus driver told investigators after he left Maura at the accident scene, he never saw her again. And out in the woods.
So, I mean, sorry to keep doing this to everybody. So he too is traveling east. And don't forget now, so she nails this tree or snowbank right here. And then her car is actually been said to be facing west. So she was traveling east, and then somehow her car spun. Maybe she tried to get out of the ditch or out of the snowbank, and because from Maura Murray says that the car might have been a little bit drivable. I mean, like there wasn't too much damage to the car. But anyways, if he's coming this way here, her car is facing the bus. The front of her car is facing him coming on the car. Because he travels, did he say 700, 800 feet to his driveway, which is right here.
Woods along Route 112, extensive searches by land and air have all failed to turn up a single clue.
Had Maura walked into the woods and was severely injured, she would.
Yeah, I'm almost ready to rule out the whole woods thing. I don't buy the fact that she went into the woods. I mean, Um, you're talking 2 to 3 foot snowbanks here, and you know, not to mention once you get over the snowbanks, you're talking to 2 to 3 foot, snow. You're not going to walk through that snow. You're just not going to. I don't care how plowed you are, unless she sees an opening like this here, where there may be some cover from the cold here, maybe uh, something like that. But she's not going to walk into the woods and just that's not going to happen. I just don't see that. I mean, is it possible? Yeah, but it's in this case, I think it's highly unlikely.
Would have been found. If Maura went into the woods and took her own life, we would have found something by now.
But there is another question in this case.
See here, the snowbanks. You're not gonna, you're not gonna try to get over here and then start walking through snow like this. You're just not. It's just not humanly possible at this time of the year.
Why was Maura Murray in New Hampshire? Shortly before she left, Maura crashed her father's car, causing damage. There are reports that Maura was upset about that. Maura emailed her professors telling them she needed to leave UMass because of a death in the family. There wasn't one. And reports say Maura packed up her belongings before driving off to New Hampshire. The reports have fueled speculation that Maura was maybe running
What did I
away
just do?
forever, or she drove to New Hampshire to end her life. Fred Murray believes Maura simply needed to get away for a few days, and all speculation about what she was up to ends out on Route 112.
Then the accident happens.
Okay, so here's the car. That's the damage to the car. I believe her windshield was cracked too. So she hits here. So she's driving like this, she hits here, and then the car ends up facing west. So she might have tried to, pull backwards to get out and drive away. And she probably couldn't drive away because there was a bus coming.
What she was up to ends out on Route 112.
Then the accident happens. And that changes everything.
Change whatever plan she had is out the window. Whatever she was trying to do is now she's got a whole new set of circumstances.
It's got to be frustrating 10 years later that the same possibilities that you were dealing with the Wednesday afterwards are still all in play.
Exactly the same thing. 100% the same thing.
A week before the 10th anniversary, Fred Murray and his children returned to Haverhill, New Hampshire, and replaced the blue ribbon marking the spot of Maura's accident. It's a remembrance that Maura.
See, this is, this is, you got to remember this is February, so early February, so it's cold, it's snowy, it's I mean, when they went up there this time here, there wasn't a terrible amount of snow here, but normally there's a good 2 to 3 feet of snow on the ground.
Maura Murray was here, and now,
especially up in Woodsville,
she is gone.
Now, there's no question about whether I'm going to look for her. This is my kid. My kid wants me to look for her. I'm gonna look for my kid. I don't know what happened
this poor guy. I mean, honestly, this sucks.
to her. I mean, I don't have Maura. I don't have a body. I have.
So she was last seen wearing jeans and a dark coat. I mean, I don't know what kind of a dark coat it would have been, but it doesn't sound like she was prepared to be out in the cold for great lengths of time. I mean, the cold in February around here, especially if it's a cool day, and I know from weather reports that it was fairly chilly that night, especially when the sun goes down. You can literally freeze.
I have to think in these terms. but the case certainly isn't over.
New Hampshire Assistant Attorney General Jeff Strelzin told me this case remains open and active, and all.
Yeah, do you really believe that? Do you really actually believe that? Because I don't. New Hampshire State Police, and it's just, there's so many cases here that just go unsolved for decades and decades and decades, and they say they're working on it. And I understand that they can't, you know, work every case like it's a brand new case, because there's other cases to work on. But hand these cases over to different authorities. Then, it's just I don't get it.
Possibilities, including the possibility that Maura might have perished in those woods, is still on the table. But Strelzin adds there have been no credible sightings of Maura Murray in 10 years. If you have any information, call New Hampshire State Police at 1-800-525-5555. For New England's Unsolved, I'm Bob Ward, Fox 25 News.
Oh, I don't want to play that. Stop sharing that. Shh. Boy, that was loud. Sorry. Sorry for that. All right, I've been here for an hour. I was going to go over some more shit. But that's what I wanted to cover here on this. I'll go back to this for a few seconds, I guess. Nobody's in here anyways. I like talking to myself. It's a little strange. Let's go here to, I wanted to do this again. So going back to the original accident, the days following up to the disappearance. So she drives like this here. I mean, the only other thing I can think of is maybe she was, disoriented here from this accident. Because she wasn't checked out, doesn't seem like. And, depending on how fast she hit this guardrail, I mean, I'm pretty sure there was an airbag in the car, so the impact wouldn't have been too bad. But you never know sometimes, especially if you get into 2 accidents in 2 or 3 days. Head trauma and stuff like that. Especially if you're drinking, all I'm saying is it's not putting any blame on the victim. I'm just saying it's not a good combination. If you're having accidents and you're drinking, you could, fall asleep or be delirious. Anything. Head trauma is serious business. Okay, so I'm going to get out of here. It is 5:41, almost 6 o'clock, so it's almost time for me to start thinking about heading towards the sack here. It's been great. Thank you, everybody that came on live earlier to talk about the Delphi thing. I forgot to say thank you to Honeybee, and but thank you, Honeybee. And I will see everybody later. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Again, I may come on Sunday, sure, to go over the football with Stephen. But if I don't, everybody have a great weekend, and we'll see you all later. I am out, but I'll play my outro and then get out of here. Good night.
Down.